was singing to my kid because he keeps asking me for juice. Not my fault that I'm out here getting loose. Gonna blame it on the goose. Gonna blame it on the juice. But I was doing Tiffany.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was like getting in his face like this, and I was like, who am I doing right now? I'm like, oh my God, I'm Tiffany right now to my kid, like in his face, and he was loving it.
So me.
So just so you know, you're gonna be a great mom too. They're gonna love that shit because he was loving it. I was like, I put my weird face with.
I love it because we both have our own unique weird faces. You know what I mean? You rub off on me though too. There's definitely things that I'm doing that I'm like, this is so Jessie.
So I definitely did that. I gave you credit, although he was like, he knows who you are, but I was like,
he's just like, whatever.
That's like what Tiffany does. He's like, oh yeah, Tiffany.
Oh my God, I love you.
That's a perfect intro.
I know.
Welcome to Drinkin Broettes podcast, brought to you by GhostBed.com.
Hey guys.
/Drinkin Bros. Hey. So that was a perfect opening for the show that we're going to do all about Tiffany. Because, as you said, people sent in questions for me and wanted to know more about me, but people equally were sending in stuff and wanting to know about you because you kind of like touched a little bit on your military background, and you were saying with me too, like in the shows it kind of comes out, like we've talked about your parents a little bit, we've talked about your childhood growing up with like
we don't really
very
dive
strict
in,
but like we didn't really get into it.
I know, and people are like, who are you?
Who? And who
are we listening to? Like, you guys are kind of funny and entertaining, but who are you?
But why do I care?
What makes you you?
Exactly.
And
why do I care?
Yeah.
But I think that people, like when I did mine, like I think people will be like, oh yeah, me too. Or, oh yeah, I was like, right? And I think the same with you. So we're going to have like, it's just like getting to know some friends.
Yeah.
So if you guys are hanging out with us, like hanging out with girlfriends, you should probably know us.
Some stuff about them.
Right? Because we're going to start saying some stuff about our life, and you're going to need to know, like,
people
the whole
Ask,
backstory.
have you ever been embarrassed before where people ask you questions about your friends? Like, oh my God, that's awesome. Like, what do they do for work?
Oh,
and
yeah.
You're
like, so...
I don't know.
A lot of... They do, like, a lot of things.
Where are they
stuff.
from?
Yeah. I definitely have. Definitely.
You know what I mean?
What
and then
do
you start
they do?
sitting there going, why have we never had these conversations? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh my God, that's so true. Like
right?
There's other people like of my friends that work, but you don't really, I just don't think of it as such a big part of your life, right? So I'm like, well, you go to work, you must be making money. Correct. You got a house. I don't need to know like what you do and what is it that you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
I guess.
And the same thing I think nowadays too, with so much stuff being on social media or just like texting.
Yeah.
We don't sit there and dive into the history of our lives via text or social media. These are like talking conversations where you get in rabbit holes down with like a couple bottles of wine.
Yes.
And then you get into like relatable stories.
Yes.
And it's like basically like an adult slumber party kind of, right?
Yeah.
Where you just hang out and talk about your life. And that's how those things happen. And I think it was so much easier when we were younger to know these things about our friends because we spent more time with them.
Right.
And we actually did those things.
Or you like met them at work, right?
Yeah.
Like I would only hang out with people that like I worked with or that I went to school with or whatever. And you're like, I know what you fucking do. Like I know your parents.
I don't need to ask.
Like I don't need to ask about that. But yeah, that is funny that even now, and I've met new friends from just moving here where it's like small talk, you know each other, you feel close, but then you're like, but actually, like, I don't even know where you're from, like what town you're from. You know what I mean?
Some of my friends from social media, sometimes for some of them don't know their full real name, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like, so when Ross texted me the other day, it was like, hey, what's Tara's last name? Like, I know it's Keen, but I had to like triple check
it up. I know.
Like I had to be like, you're going by Keen, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, because when you get so used to someone's name on social media or their handle, right? You can't just be like, hey, here's your friend. This is I'm terrible.
I am terrible.
What?
And they're like, just like a normal person.
Did you speak
that
English?
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's so the first name is I am, or like which one? He asked me too, like what your maiden name was. And I was like,
I know. But it's also like stuff we don't talk about.
But then you like slowly get to know somebody, right? If you hang out with them enough, drink some wine enough, go out enough. Like even us waiting at the bank. I learned so much.
Yeah, we talk. Yeah,
right.
But that's true though.
I know some like juicy stories on you.
Why don't I don't hold shit back.
No, I know. But like any moment that you can get
to
kind of like talk, and that's I think what the issue is with the friends that I have now is like there's always kids around, or there's like, you know, you're at a bus stop or whatever. So there's never that much time to just sit down and talk about each other. I think that's pretty normal.
I think so too.
I just never thought about it until you just said it. Like what they do.
Yeah, like, what?
If someone were to ask me like, oh, your friends, like what's their last name?
I know. Hey, I have a question.
Sure.
Because you kind of brought it up a little bit yesterday, and I'm curious. I'm waiting for us to sync up together because this is what women do, right?
Yes. So I've heard.
You said that you were having like kind of like a bloated week or like
bloated week.
And I have those too, where you're like, why the fuck does my body?
I'm not PMSing. I'm not on my period.
It just doesn't want it to cooperate. And I'm telling you, there's other weeks where I'll be like, damn, mama, like, what you doing?
And I ate a pizza the night before. Isn't that crazy? Like there's nights where I go out drinking and you wake up and you're like,
why? Cool.
I feel I look great.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I ask because I'm on mine, right? But
right now?
Yeah, but mine have been really weird since my miscarriage. I'll be honest, like, and guys, whatever. This is a female podcast, so suck it up.
Oh, yeah. Most of them have spouses or wives or whatever.
But it's just one of those things where I just found it weird, right? Like, mine start, but I'm like, did it? Is it? This is strange. And so I'm waiting for us to sync up where we're both on ours together.
Because I'm supposed to start... Here we go. Let's just go into it.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to start later, a little bit later in the month, but I'm having like all the symptoms right now that I'm like, oh my, okay. Like, you know, boobs big, bloated weak, ravenous, so fucking hungry I could eat like 20 pizzas. That's always a sign too.
Is it?
Yeah.
See, mine, I'll crave sweets.
Okay.
So out of nowhere, I was like, I need fucking Oreos. I don't know why, but I need fucking Oreos.
Pretty classic.
And then... yeah, a lot of times I just want to keep to myself. I don't feel as touchy-feely.
For sure.
And it depends, too. Like, sometimes I'll have really bad cramps, and other times I'm like, is this just, like, shit cramps? Like, I don't know.
How funny.
Do I gotta take a big old dookie?
That I'm syncing up. Because we'll need to travel for interviews and stuff. And it sucked when I was in Vegas and I was on my period and you were all like in a leather suit. Yeah. I was like, get out of my face.
Yeah, it sucks.
You need to be synced. I think that's on purpose because really, I will be honest, like if like your friend is PMSing and you know they are, like you could definitely see the difference. Mm-hmm. And so it would be nice if you're both just like, don't fucking talk to me for the week. Like I love you, but this I'm going to be.
And you both understand you're on the same page.
Short-tempered and da-da-da. And like.
I feel like God also kind of did it too for like the sanity of men. Right? So like my dad, for example, he was in a household of 4 women. So like my poor father.
Can you imagine if it was just every week?
Could you imagine like the guy never getting a break? Yeah. Like my mom goes, I go, my sister.
Oh my God.
But luckily we all kind of synced up. So he just had to deal with a week from fucking hell. Shark Week from hell. You know?
I like that. I really hope that I sync up.
Yeah.
Because I would like to go earlier in the month.
I was just curious. I also heard, and I don't know if this is like an urban legend either, but I heard that when you put a bunch of females together, typically the dominant female is the one who like somehow starts the sync and everyone syncs on theirs.
That would make sense.
But I'm like,
that would make sense. Dominant. But no, you're the alpha female.
In the family, though, I think it always changed with all of us. You know what I mean? Like I think so. I think that we
maybe, huh?
Well, I think that's kind of. I don't know if that's true. I think that's just like
right.
Like some type of little fable, right? Some little tale that someone told to make themselves feel better. Like
I guess it's like
I'm the dominant bitch here.
I know, but the syncing I think is real, right?
I definitely think that's
enough
real.
People say it and enough people experience it.
Because I've started mine like a week early before. Yeah, with a bunch of other girls going, this doesn't make sense. And we all were on it together.
Yeah.
So it's bound to happen.
It's bound to happen. I would love for it to happen.
I know. We can both feel like fucking beached whales together.
Yeah, but then when you hear someone say like, oh, I'm PMSing, you're like, oh, okay. Like even with my friend today on the phone, like I was kind of yelling, but I was like, hey, I might be PMSing. I'm not really sure.
See, mine.
Just so you know, like, and it's a weird excuse, but it's also something to be like, hey, like, don't take everything that I say. And as soon as someone says that, I don't take anything really personal anymore.
Correct.
Right?
Okay, so with PMSing, I would say it's not an excuse to act like a raging twat.
It's not an excuse, but it is an explanation.
But at the same time, it's for someone else to be understanding of, hey, you might be a little bit more emotional or take things a little bit more personal or maybe just don't read into certain things, right?
Yeah.
So there's a balance, but yeah, I totally agree with that.
Oh yeah. And I don't think it makes you I don't think it makes me bitchy. I think it makes me either short fused, I guess.
Mine does.
Or just not really dealing with shit, or
like wanting to
very emotional, right? So
yes.
it's like one or the other.
Well, so mine's definitely pre, right? Like mine doesn't happen during.
No,
mine
during
is
I'm like, oh.
Yeah, me too. I'm fine.
Yeah,
but
I think that's pretty
to
normal.
It's not.
That's why they
so
call
there'll
it
be sometimes
premenstrual.
it really depends, and that's why I think it's always strange because I don't know. And I swear to God, like Mother Nature's like, I'm playing all these little games on you because she's like, are you pregnant or is it just pre-period?
Yes.
And you're like, why they both seem to be the same
Yeah.
symptoms, right? And so there'll be some times where I feel very emotional while I'll be literally watching a fucking Band-Aid commercial on TV, and I'm like, oh, or that Google commercial.
Oh my God.
The older couple.
If you didn't cry at the Google commercial, you're a fucking monster.
Right. And so I'm like tearing up. And then I'm sitting there going, why am I so emotional? And I start my period the next day. And I'm like,
exactly.
I knew I wasn't a week.
Exactly. I will have moments where I don't even get it. Do you know what I mean? Where I'm just like, I don't think about it. Yeah. I'm just like pissed or I'm crying or for some reason. And like, it really is that uncontrollable in some, I mean, this maybe is for the guys, but it really is that uncontrollable. Once the hormones get to a certain peak, it's like you forget that it's your period, you forget all this stuff, and you just go, what the fuck is wrong? I hate you, da da da. Like, you can't really control it at certain points. You shouldn't be a raging fucking bitch, right? You shouldn't be mean to anyone, but at the same time, you will be different.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
I know.
And then you're on your period.
I know.
So how many weeks out of the month do we get? 2?
But I don't feel like, I think it was like a TikTok that I watched. They were saying that there's only like 1 week that seems to be normal because like one's like pre-period and one's like pre-period and one's the period and then the other one's just like normal, right?
Normal.
I think sometimes that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It depends.
Like right after I'm done with my period, I feel so good.
Me too.
For a week. Mm-hmm. And then
I feel like my body's
again.
Super,
it's like you're not bloated, you're not hungry, you're not like weird, right?
I feel like this works with me, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, my clothes fit normally now. Oh, I can wear like a tighter shirt.
Yeah, nothing's really bothering me. The smell of my husband's face doesn't make me want to kill him. That's what somebody said. This other mom said that one time, and I was like, you know what, you're right, dude. There is at least one day out of the month or in the period or in the hormonal cycle that you're just like, get the fuck away from me.
Oh,
everything about your fucking face and your body and your smell.
That's how it was with me when I was pregnant.
Away.
No joke.
Yeah.
Poor Chris would plop down on the couch and I was like, you smell disgusting. And he was like, are you serious? And then he would like come in for a kiss. And I was like, dude, your mustache. No. I was like, you need to deep clean, bleach that mustache. I don't know what you need to do, but there is something festering and living inside it. And he was, no, it's fine. I was like, I can smell it. I can smell it from a fucking mile away. But also I had, super scent smell, right?
For sure.
From being pregnant.
For sure.
I felt like fucking Superman. Right? Superwoman when it comes to the sense of smell. Right?
Yeah.
Too bad I didn't have fucking X-ray vision.
Did you think this month for a second that you were? Or no?
No. I thought December I for sure was pregnant.
December? Okay.
Because I
just kind of like
I was a week and a half late. And I was kind of like excited.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we also were told, I think really not to try, but that was like the only month where I think we had sex, like we were together and had sex like on the 2 days or whatever that we needed to. And so part of me was like, maybe I am. I was like, don't. In my head, I'm like, don't overthink it.
I know.
Don't get stressed. Don't whatever. And then I started it and I was kind of like, okay. And I have to be okay with it, right?
Yeah.
Because what am I supposed to do? Get down on myself and just like beat myself up? Like,
I know.
That doesn't help anything.
When are you supposed to be able to try again?
Soon? The doc said like after the surgery that we had in October, just to like wait a few months.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go to this women's health center anymore. I'm going to go to the fertility clinic at Fort Bragg.
Okay.
Because they have a very in-depth fertility clinic there, and everything's much cheaper for military. And so I've been meaning to do that.
Yeah.
But just with everything going on, and it's fine. Like I think that's a good thing, right? That I'm not stressing about it. So we'll go. I'll like get seen by the doc. I'll tell them everything, all the fertility stuff I've been getting on. And I don't know if they'll recommend me going back on Clomid, or I don't know if they'll recommend me trying IUIs or what. or him just saying like, hey, you know,
maybe
like
try with, because you got pregnant without it.
Yeah,
right?
and we still are, but at the same time, like I'm sure that they'll be like, okay, hey, you're 33. You guys been trying for 2 years, right?
It's like, yeah.
You guys were on fertility meds last year. You had a miscarriage. He's deploying in June.
Let's like
for 9 months,
right?
You're gonna keep getting older,
right?
So
you're like, what?
I had no fucking clue.
This isn't
it. Yeah, and so I'm sure I'm sure probably the smartest thing, honestly, for us, just to be safe, is like, so with IUIs, I know that they, you can take a sperm and keep it in a sperm bank, and I think it's only like $5 a month to pay for that or something in the military. Yeah, and so essentially, like, if he's not able to be there at the exact time he needs to be, they'll just inseminate me with the sperm, right? Even though.
But hey, it'll still be exactly what it needs to be. Yeah.
But we can still do that too when he is deployed. So I know a girl, one of my friends, her husband was on the same team as my husband. And so they're always deployed and they're always gone, and their schedule's just, and it's just very uncontrollable. And you deal with it, right?
Yeah.
It's part of life.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did. And she ended up getting pregnant. She's due in March.
That. And then the guy isn't traumatized by trying all month, because it can be very traumatizing.
Chris will not care.
But like,
I'm guarantee if I jump on his dick 15 times a day, he'll be like, bring it on. I won't be able to walk.
You think.
Dude, this guy is like, Chris, you know what I mean? Like, he can't get enough. Drive. Not just a sex drive. No, not even just that. I'm so probably unlike most women where I'm not always like, let's cuddle or let's do this. Like, he's always the one wanting to do it, right?
Yeah.
And I guess that's probably been always one of my problems in relationships, is that I've always been like, sometimes with me not being as emotional or like, oh, let's touch and like, these things, guys are like, wait, what's wrong?
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's just me.
Yeah.
This is how I am.
Yeah.
So I have to kind of be aware of it. Right. And so with him, like, he would love it if I was all over him 24/7.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
He's like,
he feels loved that
getting
way.
Like the emotional.
He's getting the emotional and all the attention. I'm not even saying just sex, but he would love it.
Yeah. No.
He'd be like, yeah, sure.
I got
now, if it was just like sitting there going, hey, just stick it in me and, like, shove in your sperm.
Yeah.
Let's get this turkey basting.
We got to the point where I'm not sure if he did. He says he didn't, but I swear he did. One time after we like did it, he goes, "There you go."
Oh,
and I was like, "What?" Kind of like it was like at the one of the like last months of like the 6th month where you're just like doing it all the time. Not even that you don't want to. It's just the intention behind it is different than I want you.
Sure.
It's
like, hey,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I need you to do this. So it's not as like sexy. So after as like 6 months of that, I swear to God, he was like, "There you go." And I was like, "Excuse me, there you go." Almost
you're welcome. And he throws a fucking towel on you. Actually, I guess technically you wouldn't need a towel on you because it's inside of you, not on your.
It's there you go. I'm out of here. Oh, okay. There you go.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Also, exactly. Oh, you should be so lucky. Anyways, but that was a perfect intro to talking all about you.
Oh yeah, that too.
I
was not going to talk about ghost beds.
Yeah, perfect. Was it on a ghost bed? I think probably, but we had to do it everywhere, so it was like mixing it up at the grandparents. Because it was like there was like holidays involved. There's like people in town.
Sure.
There's like, you know what I mean? But you have to do it when you got to do it.
Yeah. I'm curious for our listeners, if you guys can attest to this. They have like these Ava bracelets, so there's something similar, right? Where you heard of them, where basically I think it tells you, like, I don't know if it's like a little alarm clock or what, but it'll tell you, hey, you're ovulating right now. And I'm curious how well that works, or if that works, or people had success with it.
It's doing, if it's taking your temperature as well as like the time and stuff, I think. I was using an app that was off. So like I was using
I used the app too, and I did the thermometer in the morning.
Okay. So I wasn't using the thermometer. Once I got the actual ovulation sticks that told you when you were, it was completely different than the app. And I was like, fucking A. And I've been going off just the app for like 3 of the months.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I actually like decided to take the ovulation things where you like pee on the stick every day, I think for the month, and it will tell you your exact window of when you're ovulating. Oh, and shit. Okay. The real deal, not like estimated, right? It'll be like the exact hormones that are coming through. Then I was like, kind of fucking pissed, but everyone's different, right? Like, so
mine are, that's the hard part.
Exactly. Yours are all over the place.
1 month,
too.
I'll be like, cool, this is it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, we're a week late, or.
So you need the BBT.
It's getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
But it's still not exactly on.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I think every month, if I were you, when you are serious, I would do the ovulation sticks so that when it's a smiley face, you can go get that.
Oh, I need
that
I need the cool smiley faces on.
They have one with the smiley face. It's
I got the boring ass fucking stripes. Ugh. Right? Where you're like,
you gotta make it fun.
Where you're trying to be like, is it?
Yeah, no.
Is it? Are we good?
You gotta get a smiley face so that you know you have a window of 24 hours basically from that point.
Okay.
Or it may have already been 5 hours. You know what I mean? It depends on when you took the pee stick or whatever, but you'll know that day and 2 days after that, for the next 3 days, you should be having sex. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's what helped me. But the ghost bed,
I know,
helped for it not to be such a traumatic experience for both of us.
Hey, you want to go fuck on a cloud, baby?
Yeah. Exactly.
Duh.
Do you want to go, if your parents are in the other room for Thanksgiving, do you want to have sex without it being like
super fucking loud?
And loud? No noise this ghost bed makes. Ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. Yes, Drinkin Bros, just to make it easier for everyone across the network. Right now, they'd still, what do you think? It's still the President's sale. 25% off.
Big old 2.5.
Boom, 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 boom. That's a lot, dude.
That is.
25% is a lot.
Yeah.
I think they were doing something like that maybe a couple months ago, and that was like the best deal that you can get. To me, bundle some stuff together. Get your 25% off and then pay as you go, no interest. You'll be good to go.
Yeah.
For like $30-$40 a month.
You honestly can't beat that.
You can't beat it.
And I'll tell you this right now. Even though ghost beds are fucking hands down amazing, right? If I had a bed that I was maybe a little bit more curious in, like, ooh, this seems a little bit more luxurious versus, let's say, awesome ghost bed. But no, I guarantee no one else is going to go ahead and give you 0% interest.
No.
Plus 25% off. So what I'm going to save like maybe a couple $1,000 all day long.
And I will say the Tempur-Pedic, like, or anything with the spring in it or any of those really expensive beds, like, will lose shape, lose elasticity, lose spring way quicker than a ghost bed. A ghost bed virtually like never will, because it's like memory foam. All it's going to do is contour to your body more, which who doesn't want that? So it's kind of fucking amazing. Will last longer. You said they have the testimonials from all Drinkin Bros, right?
Yeah. And you know
that
for
have
a fact,
gotten it. Yeah.
They are 100% hands down honest.
You guys are going to tell us the real, like it or not.
That's good though.
Yeah.
Because when people read these, they're like, oh damn. Yeah. That's okay. That's what I'm looking for.
Exactly. So go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. Get your 25% off. Get your no interest payments going, and literally have your bed in like 2 days, bro.
Damn.
Next up, we have StrikeForceEnergy.com.
Yes.
Did you have some more at the bitch house? Did you steal some more of my Strike Force?
I tried not to. You guys have it all like cutely placed in your house.
Like you're a guest.
And I will say too that the pump bottle is very intimidating. Right?
It really is.
A little, because it's a lot.
Because you don't know exactly,
But I will say this, is when I was sitting there watching TV, and like, working, I was like, this is, like, that whole little setup, I almost wanted to make myself a drink with the Strike Force.
Right?
And
so inviting.
The vodka bottle out too. And I was like, I just want to like make up my own concoctions.
And then you're like, I need to sleep at some point, so I can't really do the Strike Force tonight. Yeah. But you should have done it this morning before you came.
Had a big old stiff one before I just fucking came
amazing. We'd be like, Tiffany,
I was at the I'd be at the bank like, hey bitch, why haven't we been seen yet?
Excuse me, we've been. I almost was like that, huh? We've been here for an hour. Excuse me.
No, you're very nice.
But like,
I know.
You told me it was going to be a half an hour. The guy that was seeing us isn't even there.
You know what people do when they fuck up and they're nervous? Is they compliment you. They
compliment you. What's the show? What's the show about? I don't want to talk to you about it right now.
Oh, I love your hair. Let's show.
Get the fuck out of my face. And where's the bathroom? By the way,
you weren't that. You weren't like that. You were very nice.
I wasn't. But like, I know I felt really mean. If I didn't come off that way, then good. But I was just like, bro. And then even the guy that was like doing the actual thing for us was
I'll tell you right now.
Hey, it's gonna take as long as it takes. And I was like, excuse me.
That lady could have used some fucking strike force. A little pep in her step.
A little pep in her step. Let's like get things.
She was moving like a turtle on molasses.
Moving like a turtle, but then weirdly like hyperventilating about it. It was like, you're moving so slow. Why are you so like...
She felt bad.
Jittery. She felt bad, and as she should. Anyways, what's the promo code that we're using for Strike Force?
So you can get 20% off using code Lady Boner.
Lady Boner. Well, just one boner. But
yeah,
they write boner.
They knew what I meant.
LADYBONER. I mean, if you don't know how to spell Lady Boner, turn off the show right now, because you can't listen to the show. You're dead to us if you can't spell Lady Boner. You're gonna get 20% off. I'm sorry. It is 0 sugars, 0 carbs, 0 gluten.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only thing in here is good energy that will keep you going when you're done with your fucking coffee.
I know.
Basically, right? So that moment.
Some people don't like coffee either, though.
At all, right? And definitely not before working out.
Yeah.
And again, if you're wanting to drink at night, like, you're not gonna have a Bailey's and you know what I mean?
Shit, if you want to have a nice, long, good, horny sex session,
there you go.
Take fucking Strike Force before.
Take Strike Force. Don't use it as lube. I just want to let you know that. I'm not going to tell you that I tried.
You and Ross both have said that. I'm like, you guys, who does that?
Nobody does that. We never have, and nobody should.
But you know what? Now that I understand that it's liquid, right? Because before I was like,
oh, you're like, how are you using powder? Why are you using powder for lube? Do you guys know what sex is?
At first I was like, what the fuck?
Like,
what
you guys ever had sex before?
Yeah.
So go to strikeforceenergy.com, promo code LadyBoner, get you 20% off.
I love hearing you say that.
And welcome.
Warms my heart every single time.
Fucking bitch.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You got everybody on your side. See?
No.
Alpha. I'm going to be on your fucking cycle. You know it's true. There's no way anybody's getting on my cycle. Excuse me. Want to get on my cycle? No, thank you, bitch.
Shut up.
So let's get into our all about Tiffers. Are we going to go with Tiffers? Because I really fucking like it.
Yeah, Jabes and Tiffers.
Jabes and Tiffers. Mm-hmm. So that's your
that's our new hashtag,
nickname. Guys. And you were saying last show that people gave you nicknames, or you never gave yourself a nickname, right? Mm-hmm. When you were younger. You weren't a dork like me, is that what you're saying?
No.
So, but people, what was you were saying it was just Z, right?
Well, the military called me Z, and then when I was younger, when anyone calls me Tiff, I'm like, oh, that's cute.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't mind that. And then my basketball coach called me Tiffers.
But
my parents, when they were younger, called me Gracie because it was one of those things where I was completely like a klutz. Okay. And not graceful at all. So I'd be like, oh, hey, Gracie, how's it going? Like, right?
Like graceful? That's cute.
Because I just was
and then when people started to think that your name was Gracie, then they like changed nickname.
It. No, it was just like my dad's thing for me at home or something, right?
Okay. Like, and where was all of this happening?
Okay, so let's start from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Right? So I grew up in Missouri. Hey, my Missouri fans!
Oh, shit.
I love you guys!
Oh, my gosh. Sorry if that blew your ears out. No,
I get people all the time. They're like, dude, us Missourians love each other.
You guys really have a lot of pride for your state, which I love. And was it St. Louis?
I grew up in St. Louis.
Oh, okay. And even more so for St. Louis.
Yep. So I grew up in St. Louis. We lived near like the very famous Ted Drew's, which is a frozen custard, right?
Okay.
I know. It's but people from Missouri would be like, I know where that's at.
Okay.
But it's super famous out there. And I was the firstborn in a family of 4, right? So my parents got married when they're, like young 20s. I don't say young 20s, probably mid 20s.
And they're both from there?
Yeah, they're both from there.
Oh my gosh, you were like born and raised and bred and
near family, right?
Nice.
So my dad was like one of 3. My mom's one of 16. My mom's one of 16 kids.
Are they Mormon?
Catholic.
Okay.
It's Catholic, right?
Yeah.
So I grew up Catholic, going, I wore like the little jumper suit and everything. Cute. So I loved living in St. Louis, especially St. Louis. Yeah, I love living in St. Louis because so much family was around there, right? Yeah. My mom was one of 16, so there was 11 girls and 5 boys in the family. Yeah. The girls dominated that. Shit. And so we, of course, had a ton of cousins. And we lived near like grandparents and everything. Nice. So we didn't grow up with a lot. We actually grew up I don't want to say poor by any means. My parents were both working, but we didn't grow up well off by any means. Yeah. But they always did the best that they could to give us everything that they could. Yeah. Right? Or at least make do with it and make sure that we had a good childhood. And the biggest thing and the easiest thing for us to get into and involved in that was pretty cheap, but would keep us kind of in the community and busy was sports. Yeah. So my parents were both really athletic when they were younger. And I think my dad was like, I think he did like cross country in college and, hurdling and everything. Like they all were both really athletic. So we grew up in sports a lot.
Yeah. And you said you're the oldest?
Yeah. So I'm the oldest of 4. So Shannon is like a year and a half younger than me. Okay. And then Abby is 27. Oh God, I hope I'm getting these right. Yeah. And then Josiah is 22. So we got about almost 10 years between Josiah and I. 10 and a half. Okay. And so it was one of the things too with Josiah, right? Because he was the only boy. My dad, like, I know that
was he on purpose?
He was kind of tried, kind of. Okay. A little bit. Like, it's kind of like, oh. But with me, my dad was like, well, you're going to be my boy.
Yeah,
kind of to me.
That's how my dad was too.
I grew up such a huge tomboy my whole life. Yeah. Right? Wearing fucking baggy ass shirts, Umbro shorts.
Was it like, was your mom wanting you to be girly at all?
Yeah, it was a struggle.
Oh, okay. Mine didn't. My mom was like, do whatever. But like, I figure if she would have been like that, it would have been a struggle. For sure.
Yeah, there was, but I liked it both, to be honest. Yeah. But I part of me was really against kind of all the girly stuff. When anything I was given that was pink, I was like, I don't want pink. Mm-hmm. Pink's a girly color. I want blue.
No, I know. Our dads got to us for sure. Even now, it's like just recently. I think we're like into pink, right?
No,
it took me a long time.
It took me a really long time too.
And even now, I'll be like, too much pink.
Yeah. So it was one of those things where I was always like, I always had a lot of guy friends because I would do sports and hang out with the guys, but I loved hanging out with the girls. Like, doing makeup with them or just like hanging out and talking and doing slumber parties, being goofy. My dad had me in all the sports. Literally, you name off any sport, I did it.
Softball?
Right? Did it.
Soccer,
all
of that.
Swimming.
Did you do like lacrosse
track?
Or any of those weird
No, because they didn't have a lot of those.
All right,
yeah. But we did like
we didn't have those either. So
swimming teams during the summer and everything. Yeah, basketball, track, like you name it, they put me in it. Right?
Did you like that?
I did. Okay. I am very, very thankful for it, and especially now. Yeah. They instilled in me. It instills in you a lot of morals when you're younger, right? So first of all, dedication to something. Yeah. My parents would be like, once you start something, you're not going to quit. You're going to see it out the entire season. I don't care if you like it or not. You're also going to give it your all because you're not going to let down anyone else on your team.
Exactly.
And you would learn teamwork and sportsmanship and dedication and, anything else like that, right?
And if you want losing.
And losing properly, right?
Knowing how to lose. If you do it enough, you're better at it in life, right?
Back then, it wasn't, hey, oh my God, everyone gets a fucking trophy. My dad was like, we'd be bummed that we got second or that we lost. And my dad would be like, you want to win? And we'd be like, yeah.
Let's go practice. Cool. Yeah.
Get your ass to work. Yeah. And one of the things too, so Missouri is known as the show me state, right? Okay. That's what it's called, the show me state. Okay. And so I know. And
what does this mean?
Like,
just
right?
Show me. Okay.
And so my dad had us kind of grow up with his little motto where he'd be like, show me. Okay. You want it? Show me.
Okay.
You're going to change? Show me.
Got it.
Right?
Got it.
Actions speak louder than words. And that's kind of how we grew up. And that was with anything that we did too. So my mom then kind of had me doing stuff like dance. Yeah. And tap and ballet and gymnastics.
Which is good too.
And I also really loved that. Yeah. And that really struck a very big part of my creative side in me because I kind of I didn't look emo. Right. I wasn't black nail polish, black eyeliner, black hair, whatever, but I was emo. I loved emo music. I was very emotional. I was in my emotions. Yes. I was constantly creatively finding outlets to express my emotions all the time. Yeah. So those kind of both worked hand in hand, having me grow up. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So it was one of those things.
That's so funny that you say all of that, though, because that was one of the things that kind of drew me to you as far as like other people, influencer-wise, that are in military or like have their boobs out with guns or like any of this. Like you are both things. Like you are girl, like, you know what I mean? You want to be friends with girls and you don't have your fake boobs, which you don't have. out, you kind of were more covered up and more not conservative, but just more wanted to be respected. So you were different, but then you were also goofy. You know what I mean? Like really weird. You didn't seem bitchy. You seemed very inclusive as far as like talking to anyone, like down to talk to people.
Thank you.
Girly, but also hardcore.
Yeah.
But not being so hardcore or so girly, right?
Luckily I grew up with that balance.
Yeah.
Because of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you know who the people that I'm talking about. They make a great living doing that, and they are like inspirational in different ways that you're like, oh my God, they look so good. But I don't feel like I could talk to them. Yeah. If that makes sense.
No, it does.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because at the time when you're younger or even when you're a teenager and when you look at stuff that your parents did, you're just like, fuck your parents, right? Totally. Like I had a really rebellious stage too, which we'll get into, but looking back now, I'm like, you know what? They did so much for me and I'm so grateful for it, right? Oh my God. And just that how alone, much time my mom spent shuttling us, right? Chauffeuring us just from practice to practice to practice to practice and like helping us. And my dad coming home from work and constantly practicing with us and being super involved in everything. Like I'm so grateful for that because there's so many times, even with my husband, I'll talk about, you know, how my parents were always there and always supporting us in every sporting event. And that's not always the case. No. And when you hear that, you're like, you're a lot more thankful for it and realizing you don't take advantage of it. But you have to get out there see you have to realize other parents, talk to other people and hear what they have to say about their parents before you're like, oh shit. Yeah. That was pretty good. Yeah. So like I ended up growing up in high school doing, you know, like
sports. Yeah.
Hanging out with the guys and doing sports and then, you know, hanging out with the girls. Yeah. My mom, so she took time off for at least the last two, but with Shannon and I, she worked a little bit more, right? Like she tried to. My parents were both the real estate agent couple. Oh my gosh, stop! Real estate agent couple for Century 21. Oh my gosh! Yeah. What a great business. Yeah, I think I recall my mom having like her green, like forest green suit on with like the 80s bangs, right? The big bangs. And her with the big pearl earrings with my dad behind her in the suit. Yeah. So they did that for a while. I know that they worked. And then my mom also worked at a doctor's office, Dr. Jerry, and he'd always let us. She was like, I think their accountant. I'm pretty sure she was their accountant. So she would always kind of bring us into work, and that was our pediatrician too. So he was really cool. Perfect. We actually saw him like literally just a couple years ago, and he remembered us. Really? Isn't that crazy? Like from when we were young kids. And then my dad, he's always kind of worked like home inspections. He worked for a home inspection business, and he worked for Monsanto for a while, and then he ended up starting his own business. Nice. And he works for this like major medical company, like doing everything for them when it comes. Oh my God. I know. So
we both came from entrepreneurs.
Yeah, they're very. They didn't make a lot of money, but they made their own fucking way. Hard. Yeah. Right. I'll tell. That's one thing I'm so thankful that I do get from my parents is the hard work. Hard work. Yeah. Where I saw them no matter what, time and time again. They never let anything get to us kids. We never saw the problems that they're having, right? Yeah, yeah. Or the struggles that they're dealing with.
That's huge. I need to work on that.
Yeah, and they always, you know, when I look back, I'm like, we didn't really have a lot, but they always, whether it was with sports or taking us to fairs or the Six Flags that they could, right? Like Six Flags was like the big thing every year. My dad would always, when it's like these huge stuffed animals, I mean, they were like life size, right? And it was like the simple things that they always tried to express to us. Like, you don't need a lot of money to make a lot of good memories.
And you guys had a party right there, though. That's the other thing is like you have 3 other siblings to like play with and party with. You don't need other friends to come over.
Well, we had so many cousins too, right?
And you had cousins too.
We always were hanging out with cousins.
So that's the issue. Like when I had another kid because I had one boy that wanted to play. Yeah. And so you have to like invite all these other people over and have this whole situation where it's like you guys had a built-in fucking party.
I know.
That's sweet. I like that.
Yeah. So we grew up there, and then my parents decided to move 45 minutes out to St. Charles area, that was kind of a little bit more underdeveloped, like St. Charles, like O'Fallon-ish area.
Because St. Louis is like a city.
Yeah, it was a city,
like
right?
It's a metropolitan.
Well, the issue with the city too is it started to get where we were living a little bit more dangerous. Like my dad's truck got stolen. My mom's van got stolen. So it was
starting to get
they weren't feeling
bigger city.
Super comfortable. Ferguson's like, what, 30 minutes away from us, and you know, like what happened with Ferguson and everything. And so I remember growing up, my dad telling me there were certain areas in St. Louis to not go, and you can make one bad left turn and you found yourself in a bad situation. So I think they want to get away, right? And it was a little bit cheaper out there, and you can get more land, and my dad wanted to get more land. And so we were in this weird transition where my mom homeschooled us, right, for a little bit, like seventh grade.
Look, dude,
I know.
It's easier sometimes. Like,
it kind of worked in that instance, but like I said on Marissa's episode, I totally like cheated. I don't even know if I told my mom that, but I would look in books. For answers, like when she wasn't there. You know what I mean?
I think she would be not so surprised to hear this.
And I'm a very social person, so that was really hard for me. So my whole life, we grew up in Catholic schools, private schools, homeschooled, and private school. That's all it was.
So no public school.
And I always wanted to. I was really bummed that I never went to a public school. So when we moved to the more like suburban area, I was really hoping to go to a public school, but we paid a lot of money to go to a private high school. So I was there for 8th grade and all through high school. And I gotta be honest, I loved high school.
You did?
I did. I loved it. We had a very small high school. It was very intimate. You knew all your teachers. You knew
Were you popular?
Everyone. You know what the cool thing was is it wasn't really like a huge popular group and a dorky group. Like everyone was literally got along. I got along with everyone.
That's sweet.
So I guess if you wanted to say if there was a popular group, sure. Maybe I was in it.
Right.
But it was like 7, 8 of us girls. But we all got along with everyone else.
I couldn't see you not like being mean to someone or like being like, no, you can't
anything,
hang
I
out
was fucking
with us.
picked on sometimes by older classmen for either my laugh or like my teeth or like stupid shit. Whatever. And but I loved high school. We had a lot of really good friends. It was a great time. I was super innocent the whole time in high school. You know what I mean?
You guys didn't like party a lot.
No one partied.
Do you have like sleepovers, like innocent, like younger type? Okay.
Yep. That's what we grew up with. Right. And like the worst we did was
you didn't grow up too fast.
No, the worst I would do, I grew up probably too slow almost. The worst I would do is watch a movie that my parents told me not to watch, like go see Titanic when I wasn't supposed to, or like Twister, or all these other movies like the
Twister?
Blair Witch.
Was one you weren't supposed to see?
One of them when I was younger, or like the Blair Witch Project. I wasn't allowed
Blair Witch I can see, but Twister was like a family movie.
I was like 16 years old and wasn't even allowed to watch PG-13 movies with how strict.
Was it the like Catholic thing or just being strict?
It was just I was oldest.
Okay.
My parents were learning, right?
Got it.
And that's the thing too. They were learning. They were trying to figure it out. They want to protect me from everything.
That's the best thing that I've learned or that has happened to me as I've grown up, and I think maturity does this, where you like think of your parents as people, where you're like, oh my gosh, they were just people. When you get to a certain age, right? Before that, you're like, why aren't they perfect? They're supposed to be perfect. They're my parents. Fuck them for not being perfect. And
they were
like,
learning.
Oh my gosh, they were just people that were like 30s, 20s.
Yeah.
Like trying to like make a family. Like they were just people trying to try stuff. Like, right?
And all I can do is say like, okay, hey, like you can't hold a grudge, right?
No.
That doesn't do any good. And I can learn from.
And if anything, they were like, they definitely cared about you.
Yeah.
And maybe it was like a little bit of a tight squeeze, but my gosh, it's better than not even caring about you at all, right?
Yeah.
And just letting you do whatever the fuck you wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it was fun, but hey.
So that was like the thing. I was very innocent. My dad wouldn't let me date anyone, really. Like,
when's the first time that you dated somebody?
I
dated, like your boyfriend girl.
Brennan Loveless was like my first boyfriend.
Oh my gosh, we're naming names.
Yeah. Why not? Because
you guys talk kind of, right?
Brennan?
Yeah.
No, like talk, so the Loveless boys were known in high school, right? So there were 3 brothers. They were all known there, and they were all very attractive.
Okay.
Brothers.
Okay.
All of them. They all were wanted by like every girl in high school, right?
Good for you.
And Brennan was a hot commodity at the time. And for some reason, he liked me.
Well, come on.
And I was like really surprised.
Yeah.
Right? And so, yeah, he was my first boyfriend, first kiss.
Oh my God.
And everything. But, like I dated him and this other guy. But that was it. Like, and that was all,
and was that in high school?
Yeah.
And so was that like 17 or 16?
That was senior year.
So 17, 18, 17?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was more concerned about my friends in sports than I was about boys. Let's just be real. So I love soccer.
Yeah.
And I ended up actually hurting my ankle one year during soccer. So we were driving my friend Leslie's van. We weren't allowed to drive yet. But she let us all, me, like Sere, Michaela, and all of us drive her van, right? And so Sarah's driving, and we're in this little like sports complex where there's no one there, right?
Yeah.
And we're waiting for soccer practice to start, and our soccer coach is sleeping. Mr. Pecorella, he was hilarious.
Pecorella.
Mr. Pecorella.
Yeah.
And so Sarah's driving, and she sees me and like Ashley and Michaela like jumping in and out of the sliding door, right? We were having fun. She's driving like 5-10 miles per hour, not that fast.
Okay.
So we're jumping in and out. She sees me jump into the van, and as she sees me jump in, she like freaks out, and she like slams on the brakes, and the sliding door slams on my ankle. Boom. Out for the soccer season.
Oh my gosh.
And I was really good at soccer.
She owes you now. I mean, you could have gotten a fucking scholarship.
Nope, I owe her because what happened is I was healed up by the time track started. I think it was track my freshman year. I think this was my freshman year. And so I didn't want to do track, but my dad was like, no, you're going to do track because if anything, running is going to help you out with basketball and keep you in really good shape for basketball because I loved basketball. And I broke every record my freshman year.
Nice.
Yeah. So every conference record, like the state record, like everything as a freshman, I broke in the sprints. So I did the 1-2 400 and the 4x4 and the 4x100. So that my dad was like, this is your thing. And everyone, of course, like, you're going to stay in this.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind track, but the thing is I was missing like the team
It's
aspect
very
to all of it.
solo.
So I just continued to do basketball and track. I tore my ACL my junior year, which really sucks because junior year is the year that colleges look at you for scholarships. So I tore my ACL at the very beginning of basketball season. And so that put me out of commission like for that whole year. And so unfortunately I was kind of getting looked at by colleges.
Yeah.
And like my times for my senior and a little like females peak in their junior year.
Yeah.
And I luckily still did good. I still hit all my times. I broke another record. I still held all the school records, but it was just like one of those things. It was hard. Yeah. Right? Because I was really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And we had a great time in high school. I never really wanted it to end. And I didn't. And I felt like there was so much pressure. So much immense pressure to figure out where I wanted to go to college right away, what I wanted to major in. I should be dating someone by now. Like, maybe I'll fucking marry them later. It was a lot. And it was kind of the pathway of what everyone did and what was expected in that small high school and what a lot of our parents kind of expected out of us, right? So the path for a lot of these people and what a lot of them did. And not dogging on them because they're also happy and like, everyone's in different areas and paths in life. But I felt like I had to go to college and I had to get married and I had to pick this and I had to have it all figured out and I didn't. And I felt so fucking lost.
You had that pressure in high school?
Oh, yeah. Well, my senior year.
From your parents
and
everyone?
Friends and everyone. Okay. Like I had teachers being like, why aren't you going to Maryland college, or Maryville?
Oh, well, college,
But why, even when I decided to go into the military, which we'll get into, they were like, we don't agree with that. You know what I mean? Like everyone we were such a small school. I had a graduating class of 29. Everyone had a plan mapped out for you.
You too. Like everyone was invested in
and
you.
So it was a lot. And I was dealing with that. I mean, high school was amazing and I was built on the high of high school and I didn't know where I wanted to go to college. And I looked at a couple different colleges, like many states away. I fell in love with this one in Huntington, Indiana. And it was, again, like private. So it was a very lucrative college. And they went and they gave me a scholarship, an academic scholarship, and a track scholarship. And I was going to be able to play basketball too. But I was still going to be, it was like $80,000 a year.
Oh, shit.
So I was getting half of that paid for. My parents that's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
And my parents trying to be protective were like, we don't want you to take out a student loan. We're not going to co-sign for anything credit-wise because I didn't have any credit built up.
Yeah.
They said, we're not going to co-sign for anything and have you take out a massive student loan. For something like this. They wanted to control me and have me go in state. And I didn't. I was the one who wanted to get the fuck away. Like I was living with friends.
I think a lot of people want
to get out of the house. Yeah. And so it was hard for me. And so I was in a struggle with my parents and dealing with that and felt like they were really trying to control me. And I ended up going to this college, which I hated. It was Lindenwood University. I got like basically everything paid for because of track, which was nice. What happened is I did it on my own. I went there. Like I didn't even tell my parents, what I was doing. I went there and I was just signing up, doing admissions, and the track coach came in and heard me talking about it. And he was like, what are your times? Okay, cool. You want some money? Like, we'll pay for you. And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
I went home, start packing up all my shit. My mom's like, where are you going? I'm like, moving to Lindenwood dorm. See ya. And that's how it went.
And you were just like, bye.
Yeah, because I was...
Where was this? Is it close to your
15 minutes away.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're like, is this what you want? So you were
that's
kind of
how
like...
I felt.
Yeah.
I felt so pressured.
Yeah,
and I was not happy. I was not passionate about... I didn't know what I wanted to major in. At first it was nursing, and then it was business, and then it was like, maybe I'll go into nurse practitioning or something later on. I was lost. I had no will to I was really great academic. I did 3 or 4 college classes already. I had a 4.0, you know what I mean? Like top of the class. I was good to go. College, I didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
It just sucked.
Yeah.
I didn't apply myself the way I used to. You were
rebelling.
Yeah, I was rebelling.
You were usually what people do that in high school, and you kind of...
I did it in college. Well, it was my first taste of freedom too. Like I was finally on my own.
Yeah.
Because during my junior and senior year, I was having issues with my parents. They kept restricting me, and I kept rebelling. And then I moved out of the house and moved in with a friend. And I was like, screw you guys.
Yeah.
So it was a difficult time, and we're figuring everything out. And so college for me was partying and blacking out and making a lot of mistakes
the whole time. Did you get...
I just went my 1 year.
Just 1 year?
I went that 1 year, and to me, I was surprised I didn't die.
Yeah.
Like that 1 year in college.
You were doing the party thing.
I was crazy.
Yeah.
I was fucking
Because you were let out of a cage, right?
Yes.
So you have said this to me before too, that you were like, maybe it was a little disservice to be so
Yeah, I told my parents that.
Yeah. And you guys have come to an understanding now.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's probably true. And I think we do know more about that now as far as parents or whatever, that you're like, if you don't let them do things, when they finally get out of your control, they will do them tenfold, no matter what it is, right? If you make something off limits, they're going to go crazy with it.
And so it was one of those things where, I learned a lot. And I never regret anything because I learned so much from college about myself and things I needed to improve upon. And, that was the first time that I really... And I also grew to hate working out. I loved working out. I loved track and everything. And, of course, a college sport was very different. Yeah. Right? I was put on they all of a sudden were like, you need to focus on your diet. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah. Shut up.
And I had to lift weights for the first time in my life. And then we were doing 2-a-days. And, I was one of the only white girls on that track team. And I was treated as such. And, you know what I mean? We had a short Jamaican coach, and he made some of us work much harder than everyone else. And he held us to higher standards. And it really wore me down to the point where I was like, I don't like this anymore. Yeah. And it's not fun.
The joy out
it's
of
not
it.
fun for me. Yeah. And I understand that college sports are supposed to be fun, but you should still be able to have a passion and have respectful coaches and teammates and really still love it. And if you don't, I think that you should move on from it, right?
For sure.
Because you're doing everyone, including yourself, a disservice. And so I worked at Panera, which is St. Louis Bread Company, during all this time. And when I decided to get out that first year of college, I did it for myself because I sat there. I was like, I'm lost. I still don't know what I want to do. Yeah. I've changed my degree 2 times already. I'm not applying myself in college. I'm getting some pretty bad grades.
And I'm blacking out. I'm partying.
Right? And so what I decided to do was not waste more money with because I still had to pay part of college and all my books and everything else. Sure. And it's adding up. And I wasn't probably going to get a scholarship next year because I wasn't performing the way I needed to. So I decided to take a year off. And I worked full-time at Cheesecake Factory. I got a job there, right?
She's corporate, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, corporate.
She's all corporate.
And I still was in the midst of trying to find myself. Yeah. I really was. I was still kind of in a dark time in my life where I was always skinny my whole life. And then all of a sudden I started drinking and eating like shit. And when you drink all day long, all night long, and then you eat tons of stuff, right? It just sits in your gut. I was gaining weight. And so I was so used to being tiny that I didn't think that putting in the work, I didn't think to put in the work. Yeah. I just thought maybe I'll just binge eat and then throw up.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just binge eat and take green tea pills and then keep drinking. Like I was very unhealthy and I was eating cheesecake all the time. I fucking busted open my pants. You know what I mean?
Cheesecake factory. I mean, listen.
Cheesecake all the time.
So you were doing like the freshman 15 only after college.
I mean, yeah.
Look,
after college. And
it happens.
You know what? I feel like people can sit there all day long and tell you that you need to change, but sometimes you have to hit bottom to sit there and go, you know what? This is the moment that I'm going to use to turn around my life. And I did. And I decided to really kind of look at what I was eating and what I was putting in my body and start working out again. And I was getting back into this healthy lifestyle that I was really appreciating. Mm-hmm. I was able to eat healthy stuff on the menu at work. I was drinking much more water. I wasn't drinking soda anymore. I wasn't drinking like fucking white chocolate mochas from fucking Starbucks every day. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And I really started to love myself again because I lost myself. And I was starting to kind of find passion in just the daily grind of just working out and eating healthy. Mm-hmm. And I worked out with one of my high school buddies, Elijah, and him and I would just work at the track together. And he told me one day about the Air Force. Yeah. And I immediately was just so interested. I was like, oh my God, what is this? Yeah. Right? And he was like, dude, like they'll pay for your college. Like you get to serve your country. You get to travel around the world. Like, you know what I mean? And I was so immediately enthralled by this. And I had to look for myself. And I was like, dude, where's your recruiter? What's up with this? And he wanted to join the Air Force, which is why I looked into the Air Force. Mm-hmm. And I drove 45 minutes to his recruiter, not realizing there was one 10 minutes from my house. But hey, that recruiter was awesome. Yeah, yeah. And I went and I talked to them and it was something I was really interested in. And of course, I'm, 18 at the time. Yeah. Like I'm old enough. Yeah. And to make my own decisions. And I, talked to my parents about it and they were like, yeah, no. And I kind of was like, I don't care. Okay, cool. Yeah. I don't care. Yeah. I'm old enough to make my own decisions. Yeah. I don't care. Yeah. And it had to get to the point where I had to stop caring about what people wanted me to do. And I had to stop caring about what people thought I should become and do what made me happy. Right? Because if I kept putting myself in this box that everyone decided to put me in, I would have been miserable. Yeah. So I was like, it's scary. But at the same time, I felt that fire again. Yeah. So I looked into it more. Talked to a recruiter, was talking about jobs. I brought my mom in with me. I said, hey, just listen to what he has to say. And I really remember the moment my mom goes, hey, let's go out to lunch after this. And I was like, okay. And she sat down with me. She's like, I'm scared shitless. She's like, I'm scared. She's like, what if you die? What if you go to war? Like all these things. So I was like, I'm serving my country. Like, that's what I want to do. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting emotional. Yeah. I'm on my period. But it was one of those things where I was like, Mom, like, I feel alive again. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I feel, and she goes, I can see that. She goes, I have never seen you so excited in a few years. Yeah. And she's like, this makes me happy for you. And she goes, you know what? If you want to do this, do it. Yeah. She's like, even though we might not be okay with it, you have our love and support. And I was like, thank you. Yeah. So I start looking at jobs, right? And like, of course, she's trying to sell me on every fucking ridiculous job out there.
Who is?
The recruiter. Oh, like, it's what they're supposed to do. Oh, like, okay. He was like, oh, you like working out? You're very, motivated? You should be a personal trainer. I was like, I can do that. Yeah. Needless to find out, it's called services in the Air Force, and you get picked for one of 4 positions, and the Air Force picks what they want you in. You either work in a gym, you work in mortuary services, you work in the hotel, or you work as a cook. And they were going to pick, and most people work at cook, and I'm like, oh, hey, Elton, no. No. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. So I saw, of course, all the special ops, specialized jobs, and all the brochures over there, and I looked at it. Yeah. And I immediately saw the one for Pararescue, which is called PJ, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, cool. I'm a swimmer. Like, my sister and I hit so many records on our swim team. Like, we're really good at it. I wanted to become a nurse anyway, right? And they do like they're combat medics, and their pipeline has a lot of swimming in it. So I was like, hey, sir, this is what I want to do. And he's like, no way, shape, or form can you do that. And I was like, why not? And this is like the first time I've dealt with this, and I saw anything like this before. But he was like, females can't do that. And I was mad. Yeah. I was like, you telling me I'm having roadblocks already? Like, really? Females can't do that? Because my whole life so far, my parents were like, do whatever. Do whatever. Yeah, right? Yeah. And so I asked him, well, what could I do that's similar? And he's like, well, there's a job called Sere. Basically, you're an instructor. He's like, all I know is that you're going to kill a rabbit. And I went, excuse me, what? Yeah.
all I know is you're going to kill a rabbit.
And I was like, I had a pet rabbit. And, you know, and he was like, well, you're like, because I had a pet rabbit when I was younger named Coco. And he's like, well, you're going to have to kill it. He's like, I know.
Kill Coco.
Yeah. And he goes, I know that there was like some chick. He goes, I know that it's all guys who do it. I know there was one girl that I saw who did it. And she was like blonde and kind of like girly looking. So I'm sure if she can make it, you can make it. And I immediately was like,
what are you
what does that mean?
Yeah.
Why do my looks have anything to do with my ability?
Right.
Or you know, not the ability to make something. I was like, that, okay. And that was just the beginning of it all, right?
Yeah.
So he gave me the PT test for it. And, you know, you had to do pull-ups and push-ups and sit-ups and the run and the swim. And you do it all back-to-back with very limited time in between. And so I couldn't do a pull-up. I was like, sweet, I got to do a minimum of 6 just to get in for the job.
Yeah.
And you don't want to even just do the minimums. You want to crush the standards, right? So I was talking to my parents about it, and they got me a personal trainer.
Oh, nice.
Where I rehabbed my knee, they got me a trainer there. They worked on push-ups and pull-ups with me because I didn't have that upper body strength. I was a runner.
Yeah.
Like, you know, my legs were strong. And so luckily for me, I didn't have to work on running and swimming much. And I get people who ask me all the time what I did before I joined and how I made Sere. One thing is we're all very different when it comes to our anatomy, right? And some people don't have to work as hard when it comes to physical fitness. And I'm one of those people where luckily I'm gifted, you know, with athleticism, and I've been athletic my whole life. So don't compare yourself to me. At the same time, I was a collegiate athlete, so I've been in shape like my whole life. I'm not starting from scratch. So all I did before I joined was I did the PT test every day, right? Like the test that they were giving me, I did that like all the time to constantly test myself and to see how I would do. And of course I worked out more.
Yeah.
So I made it, you know, I got through the whole process and I joined in 2007 and boot camp. Like, you know, I was nervous as shit to go and I didn't know what was expected, but I really felt like I was ready. Yeah. You know, my recruiter was extremely impressed that I even passed the test. Yeah. He was kind of like, I gotta be honest, I didn't think you would. And I was like, thanks again. And so this is where all the doubting started. This is where kind of the sexism started. This is where like my looks and all this stuff. And it was good because it was preparing me for everything I would have to deal with the rest of my career. Yeah. And boot camp was just as much that way too, right? Where I didn't realize that me going into Sere and wanting to do that job was going to put me in such a big spotlight and have so many people looking at me and critiquing me and just giving me shit for it, right? And it's good when I look back because it was continuing to prepare me and get me stronger for what I had to go through. Yeah. So in boot camp, they were like, oh, you want to do Sere? They're going to like lock you up in boxes and call you bitch all day. And I'm like, what? I was like, all day long? Yeah. I was like, I don't think that sounds right. Because no one really knew what the job really was besides the fact I would be an instructor. Yeah. But also I had a different and harder PT test than everyone else there did too. So of course I was expected to outperform everyone. Yeah. So there I was outperforming most of the males in the flight next to me. And of course they were given shit for me running faster than them and doing more push-ups than them, right? Yeah. But then I was giving shit for like, for being good at that. And it was just stuff I always had to deal with. Literally black hats would stop me and be like, oh, you're the girl trying to go through Sere, right? And I was like, oh my God, why can't people just leave me the fuck alone? Yeah. And they were like, well, let me tell you, like, and none of these, like, boot camp instructors knew what really Sere was. Right. None of them were Sere instructors either because Sere guys can't be boot camp instructors. Yeah. So you guys are like, that was like your drama teacher. So they were just like, hey, let me like give you some words of wisdom. And I was just like, whatever at this point, right? So I graduate boot camp with honors, right? Yeah. You know, you got the highest PT award and like the graduate award or whatever it's called. And so I moved on to, they call it selection. Okay. So you go through like this 2-week selection phase, and it's not 2 weeks. It's much longer than that because you're there for a while waiting on to the next class. And the purpose of Sere specialist selection, which they call SSS, is weeding out every single turd who thinks they can make it and really can't. Yeah. Right. So in the period of 6 months, the 6 months that they took to make one team, there was, you know, over 1,500 applicants and 1,500 people who tried out for Sere and only
went down to
Yeah, down in Texas. And only 65 made it up to Washington.
Okay.
And only 54, I think, started. Yeah. Because they got injured and they quit.
Jesus.
So, yeah, you're down there, right?
Yeah.
You're going through this. It's just kind of basically them dragging your balls through the dirt.
Yeah.
And when I first get there, it was one of those things where they were like, ha, another girl.
Yeah.
And I was
gonna
like,
try and do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And everyone kept saying, and the typical question was, do you think you're going to make it? Do you think you're actually going to pass? Because no other girls have been passing. Mm-hmm. And so while I was very confident, and it's funny because I brought my journal with me, but I was very confident in myself and my abilities. At the same time, like, I didn't know if I was going to, right? I wasn't going to sit there and be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to try. I don't think I will, but also at the same time, I wasn't going to say, like, yeah, you know it. I just said, you know what? I'm going to give it my best shot, and we'll see what happens. Yeah. That's all I kept saying. And so there was a whole dorm with all the guys trying out for these specialized jobs. And then there was me in the complete opposite dorm. And the reason why I was segregated is because months before that, girls trying out for Sere and EOD who were allowed in the specialized dorms, a couple of them got assaulted.
Okay.
So there's issues with it, right? So they decided to like keep the females apart, which sucked because I'm not hanging out with the guys I'm going through team with. I'm not becoming friends with them. I'm not sitting there sharpening knives with them and doing projects with them. I'm completely away.
By yourself.
And I had to get used to this because that's how it was the rest of the time.
Were you with other girls or just by yourself?
No, it was just me. I was the only girl trying out for...
Oh, okay.
So it was me and the girl Stanley, but she ended up getting like injured and stuff. Yeah. There was only one other girl that I roomed with who was trying out for EOD, but she failed. So I'm the only one. Yeah. Like, you know.
And you're by yourself.
Mm-hmm. So when I first got there, I got the flu. Yep. So I missed that team. The second time I got there, I got super sick during the middle of training where they sent me to the hospital and they thought I had a like allergic reaction to food and they had to run, you know, the test on me and prick me and they were like, that's weird. You're fine. Yeah. The thing is you're all in close quarters and you just got done with a super stressful part of your life, like in boot camp. So everyone's getting sick. Yeah. So they only allow you to stay there for 3 teams. They don't care what happens, even if it's your fault or if you're broke. So I was on my last, like, you know what I mean? Like my last team and I haven't even done anything yet. Yeah. So we started off the team and we do, you know, the PT test and we get to, and by the way, there was a couple instructors, mainly one there who I will not name because he probably will listen to this. And I honestly thought, and I still probably think to this day that he did not just like me, because I don't think he didn't mind me. I don't think he liked females in the career field. Just in general. And he actually told me that. So I didn't know whether to believe it or not. And now looking back, I wonder if he used that as motivation to like push me, realizing. Right. Or at the same time.
Or if he really felt that way.
Yeah. There was many men who I worked with and tried out with Sere at the time who kept telling me I'm demasculating their career field. And that I was embarrassing to them. You know what I mean? Because like if a girl can make it, then anyone can make it. And I'm sitting there going, look how many people have tried out and like can't make it. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So took the PT test, which of course they wanted me to fail. Right. And like, I gotta be honest, like pull-ups were still hard for me. Yeah. And if I twitched my foot at all during a pull-up, they wouldn't count it. Like they looked at me. Oh my God. They looked at me so strictly. If a guy did that, it'd be a little bit different. Yeah, so I passed the pull-ups. I was like, yes. Yeah. I passed the push-ups. Yes. Like, you know, and the run for me was easy. Easy. Track runner, right? Yeah. And so I ran one of the fastest mile and a halves of my life. It was like 8:52. Oh my God. And I'm just flying past everyone, guys included, and the instructor's standing there looking at me and I'm like, like just laughing at him as I walk by. And I felt so great because he, for the last 3 months, wanted to see me fail. He told me I was going to get kicked out of the military and work at McDonald's. Like, no one wanted to see me do good. Really.
How did they treat you when you did good, though?
I mean, I had, like, the guys count my push-ups were cheering me on. Like, my counterparts and guys like that, like, I helped guys do better on their pull-up. I mean, on their sit-ups. Guys helped me on my pull-ups. Like, our little team of people, we all loved each other and we all support each other. It was, like, the guys who were already in. Yeah. Or who had insecurity issues. Sure. Right? So we all went to the field. Passed the field portion, you know, came back and I went into the all male squadron, right? Where all the like specialized guys are at and like guys who like failed or guys who like were awaiting injuries and stuff. And I walked in and I got a standing ovation.
That's awesome.
From everyone.
Yeah.
And they were like, and they heard that I passed before I told anyone else.
Yeah.
And they were like, congrats.
Yeah.
You're like, you're one of the first chicks to make it up to Washington in a long time. And I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And it's funny reading back in my journal. I was so fucking just motivated.
Yeah.
Right? And that quickly was diminished when I got up to Washington.
Because?
There was a guy who's down in Texas who did not care for me at all. I actually, we started off really cool.
Yeah.
And I had to sit back and go, why was he making my life a living hell later on? And it's because me being mean, I'm a very blunt person. He had asked me out on a date in front of like kind of all the guys. And I was told right before that he had a very serious girlfriend that he was like thinking of proposing to, but then he had asked me out. So I called his ass out and said, aren't you like madly in love with this girl? Like the guys told me you're with someone. Yeah. Are you kidding? And he immediately was like put on the spot, and I made him look like a fool. And ever since that moment, he hated my guts.
Right.
Like hate it. His whole life was dedicated to making me feel miserable.
Okay. And
he got up to Washington before I was even up there. So as you can imagine, chirping in everyone's ear.
Okay.
Right? The easiest excuses that I think that males give themselves as to why a female can make it. I think males and their insecurity starts projecting when they start spreading very false rumors about why females are good at things. Yeah. So like what I noticed throughout my entire career is that the only guys who talked down about me and the only guys who spread rumors about me and the only guys who hated me were the guys who sucked at their jobs or the guys who I turned down or the guys I was outperforming or the guys who was insecure. None of the ones who fucking were amazing at their jobs hated me. Yeah. None of the ones who had great relationships and were secure in themselves hated me. Right. And talked about this. So I noticed that. And a lot of times, and most of them all came back later on and had to apologize for the way they treated me. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So of course I come up to Washington at Fairchild with rumors saying that I slept with a bunch of dudes to get where I'm at, that I sucked at things and that I was a quota and a number to get pushed, that I apparently like suck at pull-ups. So my first workout should be 250 pull-ups, which they made me fucking do. And if I quit and if I didn't do it, I was gone. You know what I mean? Like the minute that I got up there, they were like, let's fucking make her quit. And the instructors who didn't like females in the career field either were on board. And so I was immediately met with this. Yeah. And it was hard. Yeah. Because my first fucking CrossFit workout up there was literally the 250 pull-ups. And
did you do it?
Yeah, but it was like jumping. Like my hands were bleeding like profusely. You know, you could do the jumping, the negative. They don't care how you did it. But if the minute you gave up, they're getting rid of you.
Are you like doing it back to back without a break?
No, you take breaks. Okay. They don't care how long it takes. It took hours. Right? Like we all were there. The guys were doing it too. Oh, got it. But at the same time, they were looking to crush my spirits. Yeah. And that's what they kept trying to do. Fuck. And it sucked too because I was the first female up there in 8 years in a really long time. So they changed a lot of the processes, and I don't like that because when people see things change, they wonder if it's just happening because there's a female, like are you making it easy? Yeah. And all they really changed mainly was the dorm that we were in, that everyone shared together. They put in a $30,000 camera system. Okay. Right? Because they had to spy on us to make sure things were okay. But the guys felt really uncomfortable because they were like, we never had this before. Oh,
and now we do because you're here.
The girls coming up here. Yeah. They put a duct tape box outside my door, like my room, and if any guy stepped in there, they would get in trouble, and if they did it again, they would get kicked off the team. So like guys were forced to stay away from me. And like how do you like how do you build up camaraderie and like learn to hang out and be friends and build a team together when you can't hang out with them? So I, as a young 20-year-old, I was trying to figure out, what do I do? Do I just keep to myself and just not be liked? That's not me. Like, I'm the type of person, I love hanging out with people. I want to be friends with them. So I would make sure, like, I would go in their room because if anyone get in trouble, it'd be me. Right? I would go in their room, we'd hang out, sharpen knives, fucking smoke and joke. We all became really good friends. So I had a brotherhood of dudes that I became best friends with, and there was like the select few that still made my life a living hell. But because of these guys, it was good. Whatever. So I absolutely loved Sere training. It was probably one of the best times in my life because we traveled all throughout the entire state of Washington.
Nice.
And we, you know, survived and in every single environment in the world.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best times. Like looking back, I was like, oh my God. And
hardest one, but sounds
yeah.
It's the hardest to get to.
It was the hardest to get to. And it was hard. Like, I mean, I can go into it all day and we can go through episodes of this too, because this can go on forever.
Yeah.
But, you know, of course, there was a lot of struggles during team.
Yeah.
And I think one of the coolest things is I didn't involve myself in the drama. Just like you said, I kept my head down.
Yeah.
I fucking did what I needed to do.
And you came out on the other side.
I came out on top, which was, I think, one of the best things. I know when we graduated, they have the top 3 of the class stand up.
Yeah.
And they give them the Commandant Award, which is the highest award you can get in graduation. Yeah. And it was our team leader who was, you know, technical sergeant. Like, of course he's going to get it.
Yeah.
Like, Baker, who was a fucking all-star. And me.
That's awesome.
And a graduating class of 29.
That's, again, another 29.
We shrunk more.
Yeah.
And, of course, with my last name being Z, I was nervous to walk across the stage. I was, like, the last one.
Yeah.
And I knew, like, I had perceptions already, and, like, people already told me that, like, people weren't happy that I was graduating.
Yeah, yeah.
But all the instructors were like, dude, she deserves to be here more than anyone.
Yeah.
Right? So that made me feel proud and confident. But when I walked across that stage, there's you know, like you compare the applaud, and it was roaring.
Yeah.
It was very humbling, but it was so exciting. And like, you know, the commander was standing there and going like, you deserve every second of this.
Yeah.
Like, congrats.
Yeah.
And it was that moment where I was so proud, and right. And it just kept going on from that moment. So, you know, I continued on in Sere, and there was a lot of hurdles along the way, right? There was so many lessons that I learned. You know, things that I had to learn the hard way, and I had to sit there and go, well, do I need to act like, how do I need to protect myself but still be okay, right?
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, but I've always been kind of like rough and tough and had a tough exterior. And I think a little bit, but when I was in high school, I was the flirty, got along with everyone, like fucking, I could just be myself with everyone. And unfortunately, the military dulled that a little bit. Because if I was like that with all the guys,
exactly,
right, everyone would be like, wait, why? You slut.
Yeah.
Like, right? I was already getting it anyway. Like, whore, you sleep with everyone. And with me being flirty and fun with everyone, I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I will say,
but I think that happens with growing up.
Yeah, it does.
That happens with every girl, where you're kind of like, you get enough situations where you're kind of like, maybe flirting with everyone is sometimes disrespectful, right? But you learn that way later. I never took it
as flirting either. Like, people, like, the way I would treat men was the way I treated women. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, always just hugging and like being all over. And I would never do it with guys that were married either. It was just having fun. But, you know, you had to learn a lot. And so we'll go ahead, and I'm going to try to condense all this because it's a lot. But over my career, there was so many good moments and so many bad moments, right? But they all made me into who I was. But I loved every second of it because I was doing a job that I was so passionate for. Yeah. The fact that I got to do a job where I like lived in the woods half the time. Yeah. In the outdoors. Got paid to do this.
And you were instructing people at this time, right?
Yeah. So, once you graduate, you go through, like, you get trained to teach people, right? Yeah. And then you go through like a 6-month training period where they see, like, they have you carry a crew full of students who are all like officers and higher ranking than you. And you do like 25% of the work, then 50, then 100, and then you certify, right? Yeah, okay. And again, I was one of the first to certify from my class. Yeah. Which again, like, you're always competing with one another, right? Yeah. That's just how the military is. You're always just competing and trying to get there. Yeah. And so that was like a big deal at the time. And so, at the time we were all instructors out in the woods. So what we would do is we would have them on base for like a week, and then have them out in the woods for a week. Okay. Right. And that's what our schedule would be like. So in Sere, because I get a lot of people who ask me this question too, you are gone like quite a bit. I will say it's probably one of the more family-friendly jobs. If you want to do like a specialized job, it's definitely one of the more family-friendly ones, because you will probably be stuck and based at Fairchild up in Washington for about 4 years, if not more. I was stuck there for 7 years. Yeah. But at the same time, you are busy a lot. Like, you're going out to the woods for a week, and then you'll like go to
So you're in the same base, but you're still all around.
Yeah, you'll go around.
Yeah.
The woods is like 2 hours away, which we call the field. But you know, it was great. I was blessed with a lot of really good supervisors over my time, who rewarded my hard work and saw it. And so I was able to excel. Like I got put in for a lot of awards. I put on stripes before many of my peers. I got, you know, Airman of the Years and NCOs of the years. And I like contributed to them because I didn't care about any of that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was like, I don't care. Like, but they were wanting to reward that hard work. Yeah. And of course, with success comes all the shit that you can think of, right? Oh, she only got that because she's a fucking girl.
Yeah.
It's like, really? Because if we put
they
our
really didn't want what they don't know.
Side,
is that they really don't want to give it to you. What it sounds like.
Yeah,
they really don't want you to be there.
No matter what I did, that was wonderful.
You'd always hear
it was always taken away from me.
Yeah,
and it was hard sometimes because there was some moments where I was like, no, I fucking did deserve this, and I worked my ass off for it. But there was other times where it'd really get me and be like, do you guys really think so?
Yeah.
Or then I'd be like, wait, is that true? Like, did my supervisor like kind of have a crush on me? And
and you're like, why? No, yeah,
right? And you had to snap out of it. So there's a lot of that throughout the years, and so from 20 to even just now, like you learn a lot. For the last decade, and so I remember my my supervisor sat me down really quick and just asked like what I wanted my dream job to be, like kind of in Sere, like where I wanted my job to go. Yeah. And all I knew as like a young airman was this like fancy shit, like, ooh, I want to go for these cool schools and these fancy badges. Yeah, right? That's all we knew. Yeah. So I was like, I want to have jump school. I want to get through free fall school. I want to be all these things I want to do. And I want to have a deployment. And he laughed kind of at it. It was like, good luck. Yeah. None of those things are going to happen. Yeah. And I was kind of like, okay. And he's like, but it's good to have big goals. Sure. Right? He wasn't trying to squash them, but he was like,
let's pick a couple.
Let's be realistic.
Yeah, let's pick one.
So we'll skim over this really quick, but I ended up getting married.
Yeah.
To a Sere guy who was a crash and then we got divorced.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that doesn't really, we can touch on that much later, but in the midst of our divorce, that was my time to finally get out of Washington, right? I was like, listen, I'm gonna bippity boppity boop my ass out of here. Okay, bye. And so I clicked on this job in California, and it was a job that you had to be like specifically selected for, right? Because you had to fulfill all these qualifications, and I knew I didn't fulfill all of them, but I figured, why the fuck not try? Yeah. And I know back in the day it was a highly coveted job. So you were going to be a test parachutist, but then you're also going to be like a Sere instructor. And I was like, you know what? Let's try it because I want to get away. I want to leave here. I'm ready to move on with my life. Yeah. And I got it.
Nice.
And a lot of people were like, wait, how she get it? Like, that's not fair. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And people were, right? People were mad at me that I got the job. And a lot of people were like, well, number one, why didn't you click on it if you wanted it? And number two, she was the only one who had the most time on station, who was the most qualified for the job, and we weren't going to non-volunteer someone and make someone do it, right? Yeah. You didn't want to. Yeah. And so, because in the military, what they'll do is if there's a job opening and your time is ready on that base, they'll pull you and say, hey, I don't care, you're doing that job. Yeah. And a lot of times for a specialized position like that, you don't want to make people do that, right? And they already did with 2 people. Yeah. So I showed up to that job in California with 2 guys there who were forced to be there and didn't really want to be there, right? Yeah. So of course they wanted someone who was gung-ho to be there. Willing. Yeah, yeah. So there I was, right? I got my deployment. Even though I was told I was never going to get it. Yeah. I had to beg and beg and beg. And I'll tell you guys this right now, whether it's in your career or military career or whatever it might be, like, don't take no for an answer. Yeah. When someone says, no, that's not possible. No, that's never been done. No, you're not going to be the first female deployed to Afghanistan on my fucking watch. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah. Right? And I kept not taking no for an answer, and I didn't let it get me down, and I got my deployment. And everyone made it a big deal. Like, oh my God, you're the first female in Sere to deploy to Afghanistan. Yeah. To a war zone. And you did fucking fantastic. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks. You know, and I thank my flight chief who gave me that chance, who saw something in me and who was willing and who saw my dedication and hard work and goes, you know what, I'm going to reward this. Yeah. And I'm so thankful because here's the thing. All the accomplishments that I've ever received has not just been, it's not on me. Yeah. A lot of that is on the people who took care of me and the people who saw something in me and my supervisors and my flight chiefs and everyone else who was like, you know what? I'm going to give her a chance. I'm going to put my neck out in line for her, or, hey, she deserves this. And I am so, so, so grateful for that. Because looking back, I've had a really good career. Yeah. Right. And so there I was all of a sudden in California as a test parachutist getting free fall. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That it's unheard of to get. Yeah. Getting all my jump master schools and everything. And people were like, wait, what? And my supervisor later on was like, you got everything on your list. Yeah. That you wanted. Yeah. And it was one of those things where I didn't expect it. Like, I didn't know I was going to get that from it. And then, you know, people, everyone else likes to sit there and be like, oh, you were the first for this and first for that, right? So I was the first female to, I guess, be ever at that test parachuting program for Sere. I was the first female to become a jump master, a fully qualified jump master in Sere. And a lot of people are like, wow, that's a major deal. Like, you're breaking these barriers. And while it's humbling and really exciting, I didn't know and I didn't do it to be the first, right? I set goals for myself and I sat there and was like, you know what? I want these things. Yeah. And I don't need to know the history of who done what or who
I'm just gonna do it. I want to do it.
Yeah. Just like any other guy in my job. These were my goals and this is what I wanted. And I wanted to excel and go above and beyond. And guess what? I made that happen. Yeah. Through a lot of it with hard work. Like, I was pretty lucky that position, I got accepted for it. And, basically to get to where we are today, 2016 was like one of the best years when it came to working wise, right? Okay. I was a fully qualified test parachutist. I was getting hit up by some of the most lucrative people, positions, jobs ever you can constantly think of in the military position. I can't really talk about it. Yeah. Right? Much, but there was a couple jobs in DC that were hitting me up. Yeah. There was some jobs in North Carolina, Fort Bragg area. They're like different color, like, doors. People will get it. You guys get me. Were hitting me up. They got my name and information from people. And I was like, wait, what's going on here? Yeah. You want me to work in these specialized jobs and positions? This is crazy. Yeah. But what they kept telling me, though, is that I would not have a life. You know what I mean?
So you can do this, but
your
you're
job,
not going to have a life.
Your job is your life.
Yeah.
And I had met Chris at the time, and the 2016, we were kind of getting serious. Yeah. And I realized I did want to get married again. Yeah. And have kids. It was really hard because I've been a career woman my whole life.
And you were like starting to get all the things career-wise that you always wanted.
Listen, I had such a different mindset when I was younger. Yeah. For me, when I was younger, everything work, everything job. I'm going to keep busting my ass. This is my life. And especially after I got divorced, I didn't want to get remarried again. Yeah. I was like, this is all I got. And for me, I struggled with so much. I put up with so much shit over the years. And we can go into that much more later. But like, I went through a lot to the point to where I was like, why would I want to just give this up? Yeah. Right? Like, I worked really hard to be here. And it was one of those things where I had to sit there and have a very honest conversation with myself. And I said, okay, what do you really want in life? Because I went through a moment where I was hospitalized for a few months, and UCLA hospital and all the specialists didn't know what was going on with me. And they thought I had decompression sickness, and they were diving me in the hyperbaric chamber, and they didn't know what was going on because I couldn't even walk. My equilibrium was completely thrown off. And they thought it was from like jumping, and the military was like, listen, you're not gonna be able to jump anymore, let alone probably teach. Yeah. And for a moment there, my whole life, right, which was my job, was stripped away from me. Yeah. And the only people there for me were my family and Chris and, you know, my friends. And I thought to myself, if I get hurt or if I lose this job, this is all I have. And at the end of the day, when I'm on my deathbed, that job's not going to be sitting there crying over me saying, I miss you so much.
It'll leave you really
quickly.
They're
going to fucking replace me in an instant. Yeah. I am nothing. Yeah. Right? There's another Tiffany out there or whatever. Yeah. Someone even better. And so I had to sit there and go, okay, this is what I want. And so I decided to take a job out in North Carolina at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, which was, I'll be honest, it was really, really hard to do because I went from going up in my career to the top,
adventures
top,
out
right?
in the field, always doing stuff.
The best jobs that any Sere guy in our career field would want. And I said no to go straight back down to the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. And it was hard.
Yeah.
And, it was a few years ago. And even now, in the midst of going from working full time, like active, right, to now going part time, it's been hard.
Yeah.
But I had to realize that my job is not, I don't want my job to be my identity. I don't want my job to be
not going to keep you warm at
who
night.
I am, right? But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it kind of was there. And
Yeah.
it's hard because that's all I've done. And that's all I've known. But I'm so much more than just a Sere specialist.
Yeah.
Even though that is a large part of me and I'm so proud of it and I fucking love that job more than anything. And I love all the guys in the career field and I love it. It's not just all who I am. I have so much more to give, right? Yeah. And it kind of reminds me and brings me back to my childhood where I was part athletic and rough and tough, but I was also part creative and all these things. I can still add this all together. And just for anyone out there who's going through a really hard time, if you feel really lost in your life, because I've been there and I know it. And I feel like I'm kind of there a little bit now, right? Where it's really uneasy and you're like, I don't know, I'm in the limbo. Like, am I good at this? Am I going to be okay? You will. Yeah. You will. Always keep pushing forward. Always work your ass off. Yeah. Right? Do not doubt yourself, because I'm telling you right now, everyone else is going to doubt you. Yeah. Right? Everyone else is going to hate on you. Everyone else wants to see you fucking fail. The only person that you can really depend upon is you. Yeah. Right? So you need to be your hype man. You need to be the one who's building yourself up. And that's, what I can say for anyone in situations like this. And the thing is too, don't be afraid to change. I get really fearful of it because I like having control. Yeah. One of the best times in my life was when I was the most fearful, and that was when I made the choice to join the military, right? Because it was so new and unknown to me, and it was one of the best things I could have ever done. Yeah. And in this same moment right now, I've been like, it's kind of fearful. Like, am I good at this podcasting? Yeah. This is a whole new change. I'm taking a job that I love and like only doing it part time. I'm trying to have a family. I'm trying to make other things work. What the fuck am I going to do? Yeah. And you have to have that faith and trust in yourself. Right. Yeah. And just keep pushing forward no matter what. You're going to have a lot of setbacks. You're going to have a lot of problems. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of moments where you're like, I don't think I can fucking do this. And I can't tell you how many times I said to myself, like, this is fucking hard. Yeah. Never once in my life, though, with Sere was I ever like, I'm just going to quit. Because to me, the minute you start thinking about quitting is the minute you get into your head, into the mental.
And then you're already done.
Into the mental space.
You've already lost.
Where it's negative. Yeah. You have to be positive. You might be like, wow, this fucking sucks. That's totally fine to think that because it does. And that's realistic. But don't ever start thinking in your head, I just want to quit. Yeah. Don't. You're better than that. You are. Right? And so you can sit there and go, wow, this is really fucking hard right now. I didn't think I was going to do this. But realize that things will get better and you keep trudging on and you will get it. Yeah. Right? So that's like my whole
up till
now. What
made you decide to do this?
So,
like, was there a moment where you're like, okay, I think I could do this podcast thing?
So I'll be real.
Or are you not at that moment yet?
No. I'm saying I'll be real. Like, I struggled for the last few years.
Yeah.
With my job.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Sorry. 1 second.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Where I identified myself as just that. Yeah. And I took a really big blow to my ego going like, okay, now I'm like back down in the trenches, like starting at square one right? Yeah. So it was hard for me. Yeah. And I was talking with Chris about other things I could do, or like maybe there's other avenues, and like even going into the Air Force part-time, going into like the reserves and stuff, like maybe this is the better route and just working half the time. And maybe I can try to focus on something else. Like maybe I can start a business. Right. Because I'm really creative and I've always been. And like I've had companies like use my creativeness before. And Chris was finally like, just do it yourself. Yeah. And there was talk about that. And then the fact that we've been having a hard time trying to start a family for the last few years. We realized I can't be TDY all the time and gone. And like he is too. And we can't wait 3 or 4 years until he's out to try to have this. Yeah. And we had to sit there and go, what's really important to us? And for the last year, we've been talking about me going part-time and starting maybe my own business and something else. And so when Ross brought this up, first of all, I was like, what? Yeah. Are you fucking talking to me? Yeah, I was so shocked. Like I couldn't believe it. And then when I started thinking about it, I was like, I would love that. that's so humbling. I'm honored.
You're perfect for it.
To be like, even because this is your realm. Like, you're amazing at it. And I was like, am I going to be okay? Like, working with her? You know what I mean? Like, am I just going to be like, like how I tell people, like, and how I joke with Dan, and I say, like, you're Batman.
Yeah.
And I'm just like fucking Robin, like the stupid sidekick who like hangs out and like I get all my clout from you because you're a fucking badass, right? Like, that's how I say. But of course, I still sit there and go like, am I good at this?
Well, you are.
You know, what was it? Am I okay? Like, how can I improve? And there's always room for improvement for sure, right? But I am loving it. It's a change.
As long as you like it.
Oh my God, I love this.
Because it's just you. So it's like, it was just you who you were. It wasn't like, oh, is she gonna like be able to rise to, it was like you, how you talk, how you think, how you whatever. So it was you, and then it's like, if you like it, that's really the like two things that we needed, right? So if you're enjoying it and you are yourself, you talk about everything and it's just you. So it's kind of like, I would think it would be a little bit of a compliment that people are like, oh, it was literally just you, who you are. Like, don't try and be anything else. Don't talk differently. Don't talk about different things. Like, literally just you. Come sit here and do it in front of a mic, right?
Yeah. It was a major compliment. And the thing is, too, is I never thought that you guys, this opportunity would be extended to me, right?
Yeah.
And it couldn't have almost came at a better time because, you know, we just went through the miscarriage, right? And like, we really talked about,
and I didn't even know any of that.
I know.
So like, when we
you,
started, I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, I'm not the type to like go in 1 foot in. I'm never the type, like,
thankfully, my God,
I jump 2 feet in I jump in head fucking first, and I get swallowed up in it. I get obsessed with it.
But you see with this, like, you have to.
I know.
Like, you can't be like,
but I'm like that with everything.
Oh, we're not doing a show this week, or I don't feel like doing it, like, or I'm not feeling up to it. Like, we are people's entertainment. Mm-hmm. We are people's, like, they're hanging out with us because maybe that day they didn't hang out with anyone. Yeah. You know? So you need someone that's going to be totally into it.
Absolutely.
Every single time.
And that's why when I was like, after Chris and I talked about it, I talked about it with my mom again, right, was like, oh, I'm so excited for you.
She's into it?
She was like, Tiffany, this is totally up your alley. This is so you.
Perfect, right?
And then she was like, you are so happy about this. And that's the thing, is like, right, when you talk about it, you manifest it, and you're like, I do want that. Like, I did, right? It was just scary because I was talking to Dan going like, okay, so how do I work this out with work? And like, I don't, how does the reserve thing even fucking really work? Kinda? And right? So what's happening, but I love it. And it is so humbling. It's scary and exciting, all wrapped into one. Yeah. But that's kind of where we're at now. And it's a different chapter in life, and that's normal.
Hopefully we can like fill the void of like you needing to, you know, like be adventurous and like do stuff all the time, and maybe missing some things with the military where you're like traveling all the time and all of this. Like, maybe you can fill that void a little bit.
Well, luckily as an instructor, like, you know, we get to talk a lot to our students, and we're always just communicating. Yeah. And it's hard because I'm not in that position anymore where I'm teaching as much. I'm doing a lot more like stupid office paperwork because I get higher rankings. So now I still get the outlet to communicate with badass, awesome people who we all kind of have the same mindset, and it's great. Yeah. So so that brings me to working with
you to now.
I know, which I do love. Like, I never thought this would happen.
I know.
Right? But cool. It's one of probably the best
and
surprises.
It's like fulfilling my like dream, and hopefully it'll be something that you're like, dude, I love this. So
you do. Well, you know, I do. And if you don't, I'm telling you right now, I do.
Okay, perfect.
And I love working with you, and
so now we can move on from this point. Both people probably by now they know us. You listen to my show, you listen to your show. Now we can just move on and all be girlfriends. Guys, what's up? We could all just fucking hang out. Fans. We don't need to listen, you know, to let you know where we're from, or what we do for work, right?
And
we
can just like
too, be friends.
It's like this. I know, and here's the thing: so many people I know you guys have so many questions about me in the military, right? I could talk about it for literally fucking weeks. Yeah. And I know
and it'll come up.
I know I glossed over a lot of it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I'll get to your guys' questions all later on, but that's like the gist of it, right? Yeah. And we can always hit more later. For sure. Promise.
And we will. That's the thing, is like, we'll talk about all these things again, but we just wanted to give it a base because we aren't in the public eye for you to know who the fuck we are. But
anyway, I'm not going to talk about all these things.
Sure.
You know, either really much. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit on my fucking Instagram and be like.
No, I know. We're mostly not.
Sometimes.
Yes. But hey.
I'll talk about me being a shithead.
There you go.
Sometimes or whatever.
Perfect.
But, yeah.
Perfect. Well, should we get to a Drinkin Broette?
Yeah, I'm excited about this one too. Okay. So this one was submitted by Laura Manley, and I hope I'm saying your name right. But she said, I would love to nominate Allie McClintock?
McClintock?
We're going to try that again.
Okay.
I'd love to nominate Allie McClintock. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Drinkin Broette of the week.
What up, Allie?
So she's a beautiful soul who has been through the ringer with her husband. Because, well, not with the ringer with her husband, but her husband was killed in Afghanistan.
Okay.
And Lord have mercy, my heart goes out to you guys. Especially what's been happening lately in the news. There was guys at 7th Group who just passed because they got ambushed, and I just always think back to my husband losing, and it just scares the shit out of me.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But it's reality, right? So she's been through the ringer. She lost her husband when he was killed in Afghanistan, just weeks after her son was born.
Oh
right?
Shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
So she's not only strong and an amazingly strong woman, but she goes through the unfortunate gold star life. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is the gold star is
losing a spouse. Okay.
Yep, losing kind of like a spouse, typically in the special forces realm.
Okay.
This gold star life, and she goes through that life with grace, honesty, and a no bullshit approach, right, to advocating for other gold star families. So she's like one of the Drinkin Broettes.
Yep.
She is loyal to a T. She will always answer the phone at any hour of the time or the day and night that you call, and will help you with anything, no questions asked. Despite all of life's hardships and dark moments that she's experienced, Allie always sees the positive in life and is always grateful for every moment. She goes, I personally, Laura said, she appreciates her candor, her humor, and her badassery, as well as her strong meme game.
Oh, sweet.
You gotta have a strong meme game, girl.
Tiffers likes that.
I do. She said, cheers. So, Allie.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you for your service as well as your husband's service.
Exactly.
On this number one.
Exactly.
And one of the charities I always give to is the Gold Star Teens, Gold Star Families. And it's because of women and people like her.
Yeah.
So please let us know if there's anything ever we can do. You're amazing. Thank you so much for nominating her, Laura. This has been a good episode.
And we had so much fun getting to know you.
Sorry, I felt like I talked. I mean, obviously I talked.
Look, you know how to talk. That's why you're in this seat, girlfriend. But it was good. It was good. And it was like if I think we got.
I'm like, I get really. Listen, when I'm passionate, I get passionate with things. I get very, very passionate, and sometimes I get like emotional, and I was like, don't cry, Tiffany. Right?
It was good.
But there's moments where you just like you go back to. Shit,
and the feelings come up because you're really passionate about it, and it kind of seemed like you went right back to that place, and that was
you
like
do kind of, but it's cool. Proud moments, it's good. It's good moments, it's sad moments, it's all of it wrapped together, and I don't
getting through a hard time,
right?
Like the girl in The Bachelor. Getting through a hard time, and then you finally. No, I'm joking. But then you finally like get to the end of it, and you just kind of crumple, and you're like, holy shit, you get the standing ovation on the thing, like the applause on the stage, like you're like, you know everything that's gone behind it, right? Yeah. And everything you've got done to get to that point, and now we know everything you've been through to get to this point. So like when people are, championing you, or if this is good or whatever, like there's a lot more behind it than just like, hey, I'm just sitting here and I'm like talking. Like there's a lot more that got you to this point.
The thing is, everyone has their story, right? Everyone has their journey. And I think that sometimes we as people should probably be a little bit more understanding of that, and realize like, people have been through some stuff, and we all deal with things differently. Yeah. Whereas me telling my stuff, and I can talk about like some of the hardships I've been through, other people might be like, well, it's nothing, right? Yeah. But they're like, oh, I've been through a lot myself. Sure. Or other people might be like, oh, that is a lot. Yeah. But I think that if we all just kind of put ourselves in each other's shoes and just be like, yeah, we all have a very similar path and journey, right?
Mine was acid. And yours was and yours was a Sere specialist. But hey, we're not comparing.
You get it though. We deal with struggles. We go through a roller coaster of things in life, and we all just want to succeed, and we all just want.
We just want our friends, our family, and like we want to be happy and fulfilled, and we try a bunch of different things and go through a bunch of different things to get to this point.
We're all so much more alike than we realize.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, you've been watching every move and plotting your next move on every girl I'm moving on. Yeah, don't you better things to do?